the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I appreciate everybody coming today on October the 15th. And our first item of consideration is any citizen desiring to be heard. Not hearing anybody. Item 4, consideration possible action to approve minutes of October 5th.
So moved. I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to item number 5, consideration and possible action to award bid 2021-9 for rehab of bridge at 198A in District Number 2. It was tabled from September 30th of 2030, and our engineer has been able to go through things, and I'm glad you got that printed off. And so the bids were Kremlin Welding for $56,000 even. The railroad yard services for $59,200. Haskell Lemon came in with a whopping $224,366.44. Kind of amazing. So though the low bidder is Kremlin, and that its bid is $3,200 less than the second bid, there's some irregularities in the bid forms. And so what it all boils down to is that the best bid would be to the railroad yard.
Is that what you want?
And so I would make the motion.
I'll second.
So all those that are in favor of awarding this to
Are we
railroad
finished
yard,
with the discussion?
if you wish.
Okay. I don't have a problem with going with the second, the lowest and best. You said there were some irregularities, but you didn't indicate what those were.
Well, the irregularities, the lower bid didn't reference any project to this size or complication. He didn't reference the dollar amount or type of work completed for Alfalfa County, and so that wasn't able to be appraised. The low bidder did use two reference for this bid from Logan County. That would be the two bridges that he did have work that he did on them, which he did good work. I don't have any problem with that. He gave a construction time of 25 days, which according to the engineer just doesn't fall in line with the construction time needed to be able to complete these tasks.
Okay. The only reason I bring it up, Mike, is that those are always issues that the state
Right.
auditor will look at when we go with
Certainly.
not taking the actual lowest number, but lowest and best. If it's not the absolute lowest, then we have to put those reasons in writing when we do that.
Right, which is what I have.
Okay, but I just didn't hear them.
I understand.
Do you want a copy, Mom?
No, I don't need a copy. I just want to make sure that we have those documented. And with that, you've got a motion in a second. I'm finished.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Have a good day.
We need a bridge.
Do what?
We need a bridge. Give me a
Okay.
holler whenever you're getting going on it.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right.
Thanks again.
Is there a contract involved on that?
There will be. We have to award the bid. Now the next steps will get the further paperwork. They're going to be required to file a performance bond and a maintenance bond. So there's a big paperwork process that'll now take effect since the bid's been awarded. Contracts will end up coming back. I would expect it'll take a couple weeks.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 7, consideration and possible action to receive updated information pertaining to the 2015 grader
Chairman,
lease
Chairman.
and district.
Miss
I'm
Second.
sorry, number 6.
Oh, I missed that, I apologize. Consideration and possible action to approve budget publication for fiscal year 2021.
Okay, so we have received all of our budget books. Just as a reminder, during the meeting that we met with all the officers and the budget maker, the motion that was approved by this board was to increase with the extra money that we ended up having, the capital outlay account, and to authorize all the officers to sign the budget books when they became available. We made that motion, it was passed by this board. The publication sheet, which is the action for today that has to go to the newspaper, needs an individual. We didn't include it when we dealt with the other item. So I need that as a motion today, and I have the books, so the 3 of you can go ahead and sign those today as well.
I'll make a motion, we approve the publication.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. What's to sign that?
We can catch these after the
Okay.
meeting. That, they're already a done deal.
Now we're on to item 7. Consideration and possible action to receive updated information pertaining to the 2015 grader lease in District Number 2. So the latest on that is they're working it up. They came out and they appraised it, and they're going to get back to us.
Did you get a number on what they appraised for?
They have not come up with a number yet.
So, okay, so they haven't finished their appraisal yet.
Well, they've come and they've appraised it, and now it's gone to their upper ups to see what they.
So again, they haven't finished their appraisal. 'Cause
They haven't
we haven't
come
got a
back.
price yet.
They're not finished until we get a price.
Okay.
That's correct.
So we're
They-
waiting for a report.
We're waiting for a report.
10 points.
No action. Number 8, consideration and possible action to approve a division order with Phillips 66 Company for county interest in section 2317 North 4 West. Mike 1.
We haven't seen one of those for a while, so it's kind of good news to see that we got a new well to do an order on.
Yay.
It won't generate a lot of revenue, but
Are you sure it's not a disposal well they're drilling?
no, we don't get those for disposals.
Okay.
No.
Good.
We should receive something for disposals,
We
but
should receive a lot more
Yeah.
for disposals. than we do.
Legislative item?
Damn.
Certainly should. I entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9, consideration and possible action to approve resolution accepting $558 donation from Kevin Sorrell to District Number 2 for a culvert they placed at 3050 Ranch View Lane.
County maintained.
Yes, sir.
I'll move, we approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration and possible action to approve corrected federal funding certification for CARES Act funding.
So, when we applied back and all the information that came in, I misread it and did not look at this as a contract, and I submitted it on behalf of the county. This board needs to be the formal action that allowed us to move forward with CARES Act.
I move we
So,
approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 11, consideration possible action to approve agreement with Center for and Civic Life and the Logan County Election Board to receive a grant donation from CTCL in the amount of $27,156 for election expense assistance.
So this organization, Center for Tech and Civic Life, is a private nonprofit who nationwide provided funding to assist election boards with COVID expenses and different things they may need for this year's expense. Their paperwork called it a grant. However, I was in a meeting last week. Even though this is what Cheryl Wilson from SNI sent out, it is technically a donation, hence why I agendized it the way I did. The state looks at it as a donation, not a grant. It is not going to be on the CFA report. We have to handle it as a donation. Shalene had applied for it and sent the paperwork back in. Again, this is a follow-up. The board needs to be the one to back that up. When the funds are actually received, we will do a resolution accepting the donation. And we think those funds will actually, they're going to be in ACH, so we hope to have them out by the end of the month.
Troy, what are the funds to be used for?
It's for the election board to purchase any kind of PPE or do anything that is going to help them in the COVID era.
Okay. All right, thanks. I move we approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 12, consideration and possible action on approving the following permanent road crossing permits for Coxcom Cable.
I have a little discussion about these road crossing permits.
Yes.
When they put these lines in, if they don't meet the our regulations, are we still bound to be responsible for their lines? I mean, if we cut their lines and they're not put in the way they're supposed to be put in?
So you're talking about if they just trench like 6 inches
Yeah.
or they put it up
Isn't
beside
that one of those,
Exactly.
one of those things
We
that
hit
goes
with
through
the-
litigation?
Exactly. Are we still liable for the line?
We don't think so. They
We
think we are.
cut one the other day, we got a bill for it for $10,000.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
AT&T line?
No, Cox
Cox.
Communication. So anyway, that's my only deal.
If I can get some free space here, I would say no. And as a board, I think that we're in our rights to take that to our assistant district attorney to protest
Yeah.
that they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I think Lowell would at least entertain a letter back to them.
Yeah. Well, I know our insurance company is going to reject it, said they wasn't going to pay it, so.
Right.
Anyway, if they don't follow the rules, we shouldn't be liable for
Right,
their
well,
stuff.
I
Yeah,
agree
they're-
with that.
Their next course of action, when the insurance company denies it, will be to bring suit against us. And my point is if they do that, then we need to go back to Lowell and get him involved in it, because I've been through that with AT&T Vance already.
Just aggravating that they still try to hold it to the fire.
Normally we use Colin Zorns for that. You think we ought to use the county DA? Oh, well.
Maybe we shouldn't give up our road crossing permit so easy. I guess my point was, they shouldn't even send the damn bill. That's what.
Well, I agree with that.
Why go through all the paperwork? They know they should put it in right.
Don't they sign the paperwork that says they have to do it legally?
Exactly. But this particular line, we had to replace the culvert, and it goes right across the top of the 10 horn. I mean, there's no way you can take the 10 horn out.
Well, no, you're covered on that.
My point
Yeah.
is, they're gonna send it to our insurance company, then they're gonna file a lawsuit. I mean, it shouldn't even go that far. It ought to be done deal. So
In fact, you might want
sign.
to charge them for the tin horn if they damage the tin horn.
So anyway, I'll make a
All right.
motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 13, consideration and possible action on resolution appointing requisition.
I have nothing for 13, I do have one for 14.
On to resolution appointing receiving officers.
For the election board, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 15, consent agenda.
Payroll.
Troy, what's the publication cost for a budget like that?
They shrank it down pretty low. It'll probably between 200 and 500, I think. Maybe a little more, depends
Yeah.
on how it lays out. And now that we only get publications once a week, it drags out the processes even further.
For all 3 people to read it.
Yeah.
The legal. Everyone said, I was reading the legal.
Well, you know how to poke me on my soapbox issues, don't you?
Has anyone ever said, I was reading the legal and I have a question about the budget?
Actually not about the budget, but I will tell you that early last year, I received a handwritten letter in the mail
Wow.
from somebody who had been looking through legal notices and didn't understand what all that stuff meant. And it was the commissioner minutes with all the claims, because you know we have to publish every check we write. And they had taken the time to actually write and copy out what they were asking to be explained.
That's awesome.
And I did mail her a response.
Handwritten?
It was handwritten.
Nice. That's at least 4 more years of service.
With any luck, I'm hoping we can have a special excise board meeting sometime next week.
Awesome.
I have one more budget I'm waiting on. And in the quiet, I will tell the board that I just got a picture right before I came over here that the walls that needed to be taken down in the old jail area to make room for our analyte machine are down. So hopefully we can get the plumber and the electrician in here in the next day or two. Damon is at the sheriff's conference this week, but he was at a meeting that I was at Tuesday night, and he said the company that's doing this is on site, actually had one of the machines set up, and so he got to see it. And he said they told him that they anticipate installation in 2 weeks. All of the sprayers to be used with that have shipped, and I think we've received all of that.
Seen 2 or 3 of the trustees carrying some plywood planks.
From those walls.
Yeah, when I pulled up this morning.
I missed one.
Paul shot me a picture just before I walked over here. And And I'm very thankful that David is actually taking the lead on that, because I just had a little much going on right now, so he's overseeing that project.
How many gallons was it?
It will manufacture 300 per day.
300. I was thinking 35. I knew that wasn't right. 300 per day.
Blankets. And then officer reports.
I could just notice that Scott Trude's on workman's comp, sir. Is he gonna be back?
I'm thinking so.
So I guess my question really was, what happened?
Heard it back. And I don't know if he's on vacation at the moment or whether he's on that.
Well, the pay sheet said workman's comp.
Right. And I think he's gonna go in for some scans and whatnot.
So Celine applied for that grant.
And really, it's more of a donation.
It is.
So they don't give it out to all the election boards.
I think the majority are going to receive funds in the state, from what I understand, from Cheryl Wilson. But because it's a nonprofit, it's really not a grant, it's a donation. It's how the state wants it treated, so.
Is this all consent?
That last one there for, oh, no, Monty's got the last one that'll be on the consent.
Move we approve consent.
I'll second.
Hearing a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. On to item 16, consideration and possible action on approving claims for payment on October of 2020.
Just a quick question. Why do we have approval of claims in the consent agenda and then again on item 16?
The one on the consent is payroll claims.
Ah. So it's the flavor of claims.
Exactly.
All right.
I think that's all. Is this a separate one that went with that too? It wasn't clipped together.
It may have just come unclipped. Here's a,
So, I wish you got a new educator yet?
I think they just have someone that's filling in right now. We don't have a permanently assigned, I don't believe.
Any idea what happened to the young fellow?
I want to say I heard that he took a job offer out of state, but Marvin, now that I think that, I can't tell you that for sure.
He gonna sell his house, I guess? I don't know, because he's living out there off of 105.
And it may not be out of state, maybe it's just in another area.
Okay.
We had a job down in Texas way. He was he enjoyed that pretty much. I don't know if he might be going back there or not.
Just ain't gonna house very long. I want to build it here within, what, the last 6 months or so.
Troy,
Yes, sir.
while we got a little lull here, can you, I know you can, because you probably got all this memorized, because you do all the personnel stuff. Can you go over what the status of employment is for somebody that's out on workman's compensation, and how long they can do that, and what the requirements are of the county for the employee?
Well, workman's comp is a unique situation because it's kind of out of the county hands. You know, it's
Right.
really up to the doctors to determine when they can work, or if they're limitations and things, and between the doctors and the workman's comp administration, which is through ACO. I do believe our handbook guarantees that the county will continue paying the insurance structure as it is, which is also part of the FML law, for a period of 1 year, with a possible extension to 2 years as far as their health insurance is covered. But we are kind of at the hands of the doctors and the comp administration.
What salary status are they in while they're out?
Depends on how long they're out. If they're out enough, and I believe it's 5 days, if they're gonna be off the job for 5 days, then the comp picks up the payment of their salary. And I believe it's actually 66% of their gross is what they will receive. And the purpose for the reduction is that's looking at what they receive net, because they're not paying income tax, and it's not taxable at that level. So that's the reason for the offset. The county does not pay that. It's part of why we have insurance, comp insurance, to cover that claim.
Right, okay, thank you, that makes sense.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Claims.
I'll second that.
Second.
All those in,
Marvin seconded.
oh, I apologize, didn't hear that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to item 17, consideration possible action on approving purchase card payments for October 2020.
I'll move we approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Any citizen desiring to be heard? Not hearing any. On to 19, comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners. Marvin, you got anything?
Just one thing, Monty, you had talked about the P-card and online auctions and things like that. I was talking with another commissioner who has worked with, was it Purple Wave Auction? And they do understand how counties work, and we'll work with the sellers. You know, all we have to do is talk to them in advance and let them know that we are a county, and if we win the bid, this is how payment will work. And normally the sellers are apt to do that because they want to sell at the highest bid they can get. And if the county wasn't bidding, then they would get the next lowest bid and see where that goes. So they are willing to work with counties in that regard. Now that's just one out of the whole bunch. There's Iron Planet and there's some others that we would need to get them to do the same thing. But it would be easier, as we have talked about before, if we could get this on the P card or some other method that would allow us to encumber funds that could be immediately exchanged for an auction item online.
If I can follow up, after the last discussion we had, I have sent an email out to Auditor Byrd to follow up with her from the discussion she and I had about the willingness to pursue legislation to change that $5,000 limit. Just asking if she had made any movement on that, if there was specific just kind of find out where we were. I didn't want to step on her toes if we went pursuing legislators around her. I have not received a response yet, but I have reached out.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I got.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Only thing I have is they are finally have a contractor over there on Luther Road that is getting everything ready for moving the electric poles. And what else? We did get that set up for a turnover audit. I think it's the last week of December, but I would have to double check on that. But it's in there.
Good deal. Good deed.
So, on to item 20.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.